Welcome back, folks, for the new episode of Leak Dish. Now, patch 9.19.1's common test server was live yesterday for about 2 hours. So I downloaded the client, was messing around with the resmod folder in order to see all the hidden vehicles added in this patch. But it turns out the mods are incompatible to the newer vehicle files, and therefore you cannot preview the tanks with the in-game garage preview option thing to spin around the HD model and put on different modules and other stuff. So super disappointed. And after like 10 minutes of doing that, the test server broke until Monday, June 26th. Wonderful. The good old bait and switch, getting super hyped the morning of a test server release to data mine stuff, and getting super disappointed the afternoon because errors and bugs and incompatibilities of the mods. So, yep, typical release of a test server for Sahm, but all is not lost because we can still preview the stats of the new vehicles with Tank Inspector. So basically, we can window shop and compare the stats to vehicles of the same tier and the average, and to see if they're good or not. So let's do that. But here is the list of all the new vehicles added in this patch. So we have the WZ-111 5A, the AMX Canon Assault 105, the STG, also known as the Studny Tank Grimyakina, so Grimyakin's medium tank. We have the Pudel Polish Panther tank and the Tiger 217. Also, what's funny is there's an incomplete list of a Chinese server exclusive tank destroyer line for the Chinese. So what I mean by incomplete is that these vehicles are all stock. They don't have the fully upgraded modules. So basically they are incomplete or broken. But they have a list of them already added to the game. They are grayed out, similar to the Type 59 Gold or Alpine WZ-111. So these are Chinese server exclusive, but they could become the WZ-120G or 121G that we already have the collision model and the HD model. So those are not grayed out, but it's incomplete. So they are all stock. Who knows? Also, there's a 113 Beijing Opera heavy tank. So I'm presuming this is a special skin for the 113, but we don't usually have a tier 10 premium tank with a skin that's already in the game. So it's like the Type 59 Gold or the Alpine WZ-111, but this is at tier 10, so I'm guessing this is the first tier 10 premium that's able to be bought in the gift shop or the premium shop. But this is solely for the Chinese server exclusive deal. So don't know what kind of circus they're running over there, but hell, that's the first one. So that's something new. Also, we're missing the VK168 with 120 or 150, but this vehicle was leaked before the AMX Canon Assault. So it's a rather older vehicle, but I'm guessing Wargaming is scrapping this tank because of the stats. Mostly the horsepower per ton ratio of 4.62 or something, or less. It's super slow to rev up. Basically a bunker with less armor than the VK101 Mammoth at tier 8. Shocking. And lastly, the T92 light tank did not get changed to tier 8. So it's still at tier 7. Not as tier 8 on the super test server. So okay, I guess that's fine. But let's take a look at the WZ-111 5A after yesterday's leak video about this vehicle. So HD model is pretty much the same. We cannot see the collision model because of the new vehicle file stuff. So script mod needs to be updated, but we can see the stats. So they buffed the penetration. 6mm buff. It's alright, but they nerfed the DPM by about 250 or 300. So it was like 3050 or so. Now it's 2750. So is it good? That's still pretty above average. Still pretty decent. And put a gun rammer on this thing, that's like 3,000, right? Yeah, 3,000. So it's still pretty nifty of a high damage, large alpha, heavy tank. But penetration is still a thing. So a lot of players will switch to the high explosive anti-tank shell with 90mm more penetration. Because why not? Compare this to the IS-7 with 303. Oh god, what a joke. So same stats for the gun, mostly. Alpha, module damage, the same. Still 40 rounds, so that's pretty good. Shell velocity is the same, yada yada. Accuracy the same, I believe. 0.374, yeah, that's the same. They buffed the aim time from 3.07 seconds to 2.4. That's amazing. 2.4 seconds? And put vertical stabilizer and vents? That's like what? 2.2 seconds of aim time? For this large caliber of a gun? That's pretty good. Also, they nerfed the gun depression. It was 10 degrees, which was insane, to 7 degrees, and 1 degree at the back. So no gun depression at the back, but 7 degrees of gun depression is good for a Russian/Chinese tank, because their average is like 5. So this is a godsend, like 40% more. Hell, that's great. That's like 1 degree less than the T110E5. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Same traverse speed, same elevation, horsepower per ton ratio is the same. Top speed, yep. Terrain resistance, health, view range, camo. Every much the same as yesterday's video, but they nerf the DPM, nerf the gun depression, buff the aim time. Because why not? You need a buff on the aim time. So let's compare this to the IS-7 just to prove a point. So here is the IS-7, same penetration, alpha, a lot better DPM by 1 round in a minute. Better shell velocity, more rounds, 33.33% more rounds than the IS-7. Wow, that's actually the other way around. Math, it's 25% more. Okay, fine, whatever. But better accuracy, faster aim time. Holy crap, 2.97. Ugh, god. Dispersion is better. Gun depression is better by 1 degree. I thought it was 5 on the IS-7. My mistake, but a lot better elevation on downward slopes. Better traverse for the hull, a lot better. Top speed is not as good, so by 10, but horsepower per ton ratio is close enough, similar to yesterday, but this is a lot better terrain resistance. Slightly more health, same view range. Not as good with the camo, slightly, and not as chunky of the weight. But still, you have 1 more round of DPM and better accuracy, a lot faster aim time, better gun depression, better terrain resistance. That counteracts the horsepower per ton ratio. So the IS-7 is rumored to be buffed in patch 9.20. We'll see, but holy crap. Why would you ever want to play with the IS-7? Only for the turret armor, because of the cupola. The commander cupola and the loader cupola. That's the weak spot, as well as the driver hatch we mentioned yesterday. But if you're firing at a 100-meter distance, and if you're hiding the lower plate, it's pretty hard to hit the cupola, right? So, oh my god. DPM is like 1 more round. Holy crap. Let's take a look at the 113, just to compare. So where is the 113? It's here. So you have same dispersion across the board. Better elevation by 5 degrees. Not as good accuracy by almost 0.02, but faster aim time compared to a smaller caliber gun, which is the 122. This is 130. It aims faster. What? Has better penetration by 1mm, better alpha, Same DPM, so trade-off is relatively the same for the Alpha for the rate of fire. More ammo, so it has more potential damage for this vehicle because the more storage of the shells. Same view range, standard radio above 700, camo is about the same. Less horsepower per ton ratio by 1.67, and that's pretty much it. So would you rather play a medium tank hybrid of a heavy tank, or play a heavy tank with more punch but not as fast? Still decent enough. Not as much health though, surprisingly. I think this vehicle might have better armor than the 113 on the upper plate and the turret. They both have the cupola weak spot in the lower plate, but this does feel more of a heavy tank than the medium tank slash heavy tank hybrid, heavy tank hybrid of a 113 tongue twister. So not bad. I think it's worthwhile, but the main comparison is to the IS-7, which makes it look super compared to the IS-7. So let's take a look at the AMX Canon Assault 105. So I'll do the picture first, just in case. So this is a blueprint vehicle designed to base off of a light assault gun variant of a tank destroyer. So here is the Lorraine Canon Assault 120mm, but this was based off the AMX 50 project of a lightweight assault gun. So AMX was contracted with another version right here. So this is the Canon Assault 105, and here is the AMX Canon Assault 120, but these both are paper tanks, so paper for the AMX version and only a prototype for the Lorraine version, so never made it past the drawing board because of the failure of AMX 50 project, because oscillating turret does not help against nuclear and chemical and biological attacks, so the seal around the oscillation of the turret is not good. And yep, no need for tank destroyers or heavy tanks, mostly focus on main battle tanks and the firepower of the guns, so they shifted towards the AMX 30 project and left the AMX 50 project. But here are the in-game models. So it's a pretty nice looking vehicle. It's sleek, it's small, does have a tumor-ish of a commander cupola, so it's not as bad as the Foch 155s or the Foch 120s, but it's still prominent. It's not as cancerous of a growth like the AMX 30B, so I guess that's okay. But this vehicle is going to be a sneaky tank destroyer. Penetration 260. That's good for tier 8, not great compared to the STRV S1 or the UDS-03, same pretty much caliber of a gun. 105, so 390 alpha. DPM, ooh, 1 down, or about 500 less than the ISU, 300 less than the average. So for such a small caliber of a gun for a tank destroyer, you would expect to have a high rate of fire or high penetration. It doesn't do that. So okay, I guess that's fine. If you put a gun rammer on this thing, you can go up to 2,350. The benefit of this gun, the strength of this gun, is the accuracy. So 0.288 and 1.9 seconds of aim time. Good dispersion on movement of the vehicle. So this vehicle is basically, if you want to play with the siege mode but don't want to play with the siege mode, so if you want to play with the S-tanks but you don't want to deal with the siege mode, that's what this vehicle is meant for. So DPM is super poopy for a tank destroyer, in my opinion. This is more of a heavy tank, more of a heavy tank DPM at tier 8. Okay, sure, 40 rounds, not great for 105, but if you make your shots count, it's not that bad. Shell velocity is very high, so don't need to lead your shots. That's good. Accuracy off the charts. Aim time is very fast. So put a binocular and camouflage net. 8 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation. Traverse for the vehicle turret, basically moving the gun back and forth to the left and right. And gun traverse is the up and down, but average. About. Hull traverse, average. Horsepower per turn ratio is very good. 26.79. Ooh, that's fast. But terrain resistance, below average. So this is like the AMX CDC, surprisingly, with a high horsepower per turn ratio but crappy terrain resistance. So compared to the CDC, you'll have less horsepower per turn ratio but slightly better terrain resistance. So this is not as fast as the CDC, but it's not bad. So mobility wise, it's still pretty decent. Top speed of only 55 kilometers per hour. So it's fast to rev up, but in a straight line, only 55. I want 60 or 65 to make the wind flow through your hair, but okay. Reverse speed 18, so not bad. Alright. Terrain resistance below average. Other than the soft, which is above average. Health is low. It's French tank destroyer as well. View range below average by 7. Camera rating is not bad, 38%. That's like the M18 Hellcat. Close by 1%. I know my numbers. So that's good. It's sneaky, but the main competition for this vehicle is the STRV S1. So play with this vehicle if you want to play with the S-Tanks, but don't want to deal with the siege mode, in essence. But it doesn't have the penetration as the S-Tanks. Same caliber of a gun, so same alpha. Less DPM, yeah. Less ammo. Faster shell velocity, but 1,450 meters per second is close enough to 1,525. And siege mode accuracy is not displayed, so this is questionable, but questionable. Speed is faster, obviously, than the S-Tank. Yeah, faster to rev up and goes forward faster by 5 kilometers per hour. Not as good going backwards, so you have to turn around and go backwards, but hey, same health, more view range, and not as good camo. Weight is not as much. IS-7, what the hell? There we go. So yeah, this is basically, if you want to play with the S-Tank, but you don't want to deal with the siege mode, you play with this vehicle. I mean, the siege mode is an acquired taste, but I prefer a challenge, and I prefer the straight up armor of the S-Tanks because of the sloping against medium tank caliber guns. But this vehicle is rumored to have 100mm. It's not all the way around the front. It's mostly like the gun mantlet part, whereas the upper plate is about 70. I checked the collision model, and you do have weak spots like the commander cupola. So alternative siege mode S-Tank without the siege mode. Siege mode less S-Tank. Alright, I mean, it's not bad. Credit grinding, I still would prefer the DPM of the S-Tank, mostly because of the tank destroyer capability of dishing out damage, but it's still fine if it's sneaky and it's fast. Alright, but for the STG, this vehicle is based off of the Object 416. So originally, after the KV-4 program of heavy tanks with rear-mounted turrets, they liked the idea, so the Soviets wanted a medium tank with a rear-mounted turret, so they came up with the K91. K91, that's this vehicle with the roundish hull front and a rounded turret at the back, and they came up with the Object 416, the frying pan right here. So then they came up with the Object 430, version number 2, and they came up with this vehicle right here, but this vehicle is basically a paper tank, another frying pan of a rear mounted turret. So that's pretty much the history behind it, but afterwards they deemed that it's too complex, you don't need it, just build like T62s and T64s, and then T72s. So no need for these vehicles. Oh well. But here are the in-game model. So you probably already saw it, but it's basically frying pan version number 2. So not that bad looking. Has the Russian log, so it's a Russian tank. Large caliber, I think that's the KPV anti-aircraft machine gun. That's a 14.5 caliber large ass machine gun. Yeah, it's pretty huge. But here are the main stats. So penetration 212, not bad for medium. Pretty chunky alpha 390. So this is a 122 modified D25T. Okay, so it's a modified D25T with more penetration. Alright, but DPM is 120 below average. Is that bad? 120 below average is alright. 1743 is workable. I mean, you're playing the Luva with 1600 and the KV5 with 1600. So 1700 is not bad, I guess, but it's a large caliber gun, 122, so no problem with dealing those pesky S-tanks and their sloped armor. So overmatch rule. You only have 35 rounds though, so don't spam a lot. That might be a problem. 880 meters per second. Shell velocity, it's fine, it's workable. Accuracy 0.316. That's pretty good. For a Russian gun, that's like German gun. That's better than the Borsig, which is 0.336 or something. Holy crap. Aim time is a little bit long, 2.4 seconds, but if you have the accuracy, aiming is, it's fine. I mean, think again. This was the original aim time for the FE402, for 202. So, it's workable, but if it was like 2.2 seconds of aim time, that would be like great. So I guess that's fine. So 6 degrees of gun depression, 17 elevation. Dispersion on movement is a little bit below average, so this is more of a sniping tank destroyer slash medium tank, similar to the Object 416 with a high DPM. Penetration is not as great, obviously, but it's fine. Turret traverse, below average. Hull traverse, slightly above average. Speed and mobility is pretty good. Top speed, 50, not bad. Horsepower per turn ratio is pretty great. 17.86. That's close to the tier 10s. With this terrain resistance, yeah, combined together, this is very close to the tier 10s. The tier 10s have great terrain resistance, but slower horsepower per turn ratio to rev up. So, in combination, this should be a very fast, above average, speed for a medium, reverse of 20 kilometers per hour. That's good. Health is chunky though, 1350. Not as much as something like the Panther 2, but that's the Panther 2, or the Centurion Mark 1, but 1350 is not bad at all. Not really. Armor is the same as the Object 416, so no armor. It's not as crazy as the Object 430 version number 2's turret, so don't be expecting to bounce a lot of shots. View range, 370. 15 less than the average. Does have pretty good camo though. Not as crazy as the 416 though. Radio is standard. Weight is okay. But let's compare this to the 416 just to be sure. So this does feel like a sniping tank destroyer esque of a medium. But the 416 has crazy DPM. Crazy DPM for a medium. It doesn't have the penetration or the alpha, but it has the accuracy. Switch it around. This vehicle has the penetration, has the alpha and the accuracy, but doesn't have the DPM. Yeah, like 759 Aim time is also longer, and dispersion on movement is a little bit wonkier. Has better gun angles, that's for sure. And only 35 rounds, but it does more damage. So it's like the Object 416. Not as good camo, not as good view range, but this has a tank destroyer feel to a medium tank. So you snipe with this gun and try to shoot at weak spots, because dispersion on movement is not great for vehicle movement. That's 0.211. That's a high number, and you will probably miss if you shoot this thing on the move. So it's meant for shooting stationary. Health is more, okay, but armor is the same with better frontal hull armor. So basically the same top speed, same terrain resistance, better engine, so giving you more horsepower per ton ratio, less traverse, but So in essence, this is going to be a premium tier 8 tank destroyer hybrid of a medium tank, similar to the Sherman Revalorisé, but this has more penetration than the Revalorisé at a 12mm difference. Yeah, better accuracy. Not as good aim time, but it's a lot sneakier than the Sherman. Less view range though, but faster though. Less health though. I don't know. I'm skeptical. It doesn't. If this thing has crazy turret armor, that might be a sweeter deal. But it's fine. What about the gold shell? APCR. Ooh, it's only 248mm of pin for the APCR shell, so it's not like the high explosive anti-tank that the 416 gets at a 300mm pin. Yeah, that's a better gold shell. If this was like 260, that might be good, but 248 for the gold shell means you will have problem with large super heavies with a lot of armor, and you don't have that much accuracy shooting on the move. So I don't know, but it is AP shell, so better normalization than the APCR, and better pen than the Sherman Ravioli. So I guess that's fine. I guess. And let's move on to the Pudel. So we're going to be a little bit faster with these vehicles because it's basically the same as the VK3002M, but the Pudel actually existed. So during August of 1944, in Warsaw, there was a resistance push, and they captured 3 German Panther tanks. So one was named Pudel or Magda, and the other one was called the Felek, F-E-L-E-K, and the third one was inoperational, so only 2 made it out of the seizure from the Germans. So used the German vehicles against them, but they painted the vehicle front with their colors and the Pudel tag right here. So this vehicle was destroyed or abandoned in 1944, and this is a replica of the original vehicle. So this is not the exact vehicle, but they based the camo pattern as well as the emblems and other stuff on the original vehicle. So this vehicle actually existed, surprisingly. So it's not a made-up vehicle, alright? But here are the in-game models. So it has the damage patterns as well as the Zimmeret, the anti-magnetic coating paint thingy-majig. So yeah, it's a Panther tank. Not bad. But in the game, it's mostly the same stats as the VK3002M, the factory designation or the prototype to the Panther. So yeah, has more rounds by 2. Alright, same stats as the rest, and less horsepower per ton ratio because of the weight. Yeah, it weighs more. So but 0.82, it might be a feather-ish of a difference, but still a difference. Has the camouflage paint, so better camo, but you cannot paint over this vehicle. So basically, it's a premium version of a VK3002M with a specially designed camo for the Polish. That's it. Same APCR shell. Yeah, same APCR shell. Alrighty then, better brake force by 5,000 Newton. Yeah, science, math, physics. And let's jump onto the final vehicle, the Tiger 217. So this is Autocarrius Panzerkampfwagen Mark 6 OSV, the Tiger 1 OSV. So it got destroyed outside of Poland, and it was a famous tank, but afterwards Carrius moved on to the Jagdtiger. So advanced careers of destroying vehicles, but he did call the Jagdtiger inferior to the Tiger 1 because it was even more complex than the Tiger 1. So funny enough, but in-game model, you already saw this with the Zimmerat, with the the MG34 for the Commander. So different textural model outside of the vehicle, but collision model wise, it's the same as the 131 or the Japanese Tiger 1, the heavy tank number 6. So it's a Tiger tank. I love Tiger tanks, but we have 3 of them at tier 6 now. Oh, I clicked the wrong vehicle because it's close. There's the 217. So as you can see, it's the same stats as the 131. Yep. It has a... well, it doesn't have the skin, so it doesn't have the camo as the 131. But does that mean you can paint over the Dunkelglib, the yellow paint of the Tiger tank? That would be great if you can paint over the yellow, so you get a mesh of yellow slash forest color of some sort. So like a palette of different colors. That's great, but it doesn't have the camo bonus as the Tiger 131. So it's still the Dunkelglib, the yellow color. Alright, but weighs the same. Everything's the same. Everything is the same. Holy crap. The cost is different, obviously. They haven't put the cost there yet. It's only a placeholder, but everything's the same. Let's take a look at the Japanese Tiger 1. Everything's the same. So there you go, folks. The new vehicles added in this patch and their stats. Unfortunately, no preview for the actual HD model. That's because of the mods and the vehicle script, so nothing I could do. Wait. No, you're not using APCR as... yeah, you know. So yeah, the same vehicles, mostly for 2 of them. The VK3002M into the Pudel, and the Tiger 131 into the Tiger 217. So close enough. But for the AMX Canon Assault, it's like a... I don't want to play with siege mode S-Tank. So, okay. The STG is more of a sniping 416, or if Sherman Revalorisé was a Russian tank, or if you mix the Sherman Revalorisé with the 416, maybe. But I think it's balanced. It's viably balanced. It's not OP. OP would be like making the turret armor the same as the Object 430 version number 2. That would be... or making the DPM like 2200 or something. That would be... yeah. Oh well. And for the WZ-111-5A, I think it's worthwhile. Yeah, it's worthwhile. It's not bad. Just makes the IS-7 look stupid though. One more round of DPM in a minute. So there you go, folks. The new vehicles added in patch 9.19.1. So thank you guys for watching the video. Sorry about the video being slow-ish because of me thinking about stuff. But hey, we do stuff live. So that's the charm of the channel, I guess. Or the downfall. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
self-propelled.